Then in Hip Hop is an album, right, Myke? Then in Hip Hop album review, Dope Knife, Things Got Worse. Before we get into the review, Dead in Studios. You're gonna see it before it starts. Like I already see what Modest be doing with it. But make sure you follow it on social media. We can handle all of your audio, video production needs, photography, all of that. Hit us up. We are more than just a YouTube channel now. Okay, hit us up. Also, make sure that if you want to support Dead in Hip Hop, follow us on Patreon. You'll see all of the different tiers. It's self-explanatory. Go check that out. Make sure you follow us on social media. Also, make sure you follow all of our podcasts, man. We have a podcast network. We have multiple podcasts. Dead in Gaming, Dead in Hip Hop, Black Korea, Low Mid, all of them shits. Go follow all of that. We got all of that. Okay. Back to the album, Dope Knife, Things Got Worse. So, Myke, when I first started listening to this shit, I'm not gonna lie, be 100% honest. I was listening to this with a hater ear.
Why?
A hater ear?
Because I don't particularly like underground artists. Like, I always feel like they have...
Damn,
I'm general. Let me work through it. This is just the beginning. What I'm trying to say is that for the most part, most underground artists have like this sound
that you don't like.
That I
know what you mean. I'm just fucking with you.
I know you are. And the album kind of started that way with like Got It Like Me, Biggest Loser, and I'm like, that shit I don't like. But I can't front. He's not whack.
Okay.
He's not whack, but I could definitely say that this project and this style of artist is not for me. But he had joints on here. I was like, oh shit, like this is nice. But yeah, man, he just at first just had that like underground sound, and I'm like, so that's what I'm saying. That's why I was listening to it with a hater's ear. I was trying to nitpick everything.
What's the underground sound?
I can't really describe.
Kind of a
I know,
boom bap-ish type sound.
But it's also how they rap. It's not just like the production.
Like off kilter, kind of.
He's not off kilter.
He's not off
That's
kilter.
what I think so. Yeah.
I know what he means. I just can't verbalize it either.
Yeah, it's hard to explain because it's literally just it's a sound.
He's
and
wordy.
when you hear it, you know it.
He's wordy, maybe.
It's not that.
What is it then? Goddamn.
It's how they. It's just how they sound.
I mean, I hear what he's saying because it does have a very traditional sound to it, somewhat.
I get
in
that.
terms of the beats and stuff like that. So I can hear him going in talking about, oh, that's that same.
Yeah, but like explain that.
hip-hop
Like, what
shit.
is that though?
There was a couple of songs like "So Upset," like that shit. I really like that.
It took you that long? Number 12. 12 out of 14.
It's like that one and maybe like another one. But again, I was trying to nitpick, and it was just like there's not much to nitpick outside of him sounding like an underground artist to me.
You didn't like Make Perfect? I'm surprised you didn't like Make Perfect.
I'm not
the way
saying-
he used like sports reference to like
No, and then he had Allen
Not
Iverson
like no damn
practice.
Make Perfect. That beat? I can't see him liking that at all.
No, but I like what he used for.
the way he used
the way he
used sports.
Yeah.
The references.
Yeah,
The references and how you started with that intro with Allen Iverson practice, and he was just talking about
Oh, I thought that was him.
No.
like I said, I was trying to nitpick at this, and it's just.
What for?
It's just not for me, but it's not bad either. It's just that it has no replay value for me. It's not something that I want to bump in the whip. It's not something that I'm like, oh yeah, I need to listen to this. Like this is super hard, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? For Feefo,
No, there's some pretty hard beats on here.
I'm not saying that there
That shit
ain't.
Shrunk, rattled.
Just
Spotless
not my
Mom. What is it, Biggest Loser or Sun Goes Down? Those
the
have
first
those
half of the fucking
dark,
album.
hard ass
It's
beats.
hard.
Yeah.
Just not mine. Just not.
No, I understand that, but I'm just talking about the production, the beats, and the sound of the beats and how they're very hard hitting and thumping.
But
like,
he can't get past the sound.
He just can't get the sound of the rapper or the sound of the actual.
That's what I was trying to establish earlier. And that's what I'm telling you. Because we just gonna come back around to it.
But he said that. Okay, so
I tried. That's what I was saying. I tried.
all right.
Because remember, towards the end of the album, it mellows out. And the beats aren't so traditional, like
They aren't.
boom bap.
Yeah,
So maybe that's when he kind of clicked back in, was towards the end of the album.
He went in nitpicking, And then it was like, all right, well, it's not as bad
Oh, the
as
way
I
he
thought.
phrased it, I get
Right,
you.
yeah, it was
I
the
get you.
phrasing
I
of
get
it.
you.
So
I
I
get
was like, okay, well, maybe it's the production.
At some point, it
because
picked up for
it's
him.
so hard hitting and thumping. Like he could, in his mind, be like, okay, I may not be rocking with the rapper or the content, but these beats are knocking, and I can bump this. So anyway, go ahead, B. Let me think about that.
Oh no, I'm listening up. But yeah, I think for me, yeah, definitely the first half of this album is definitely like the stronger point of this album for me personally, just as far as the beats, the way he was rapping, what he was rapping about. I love when he's like songs like "Get It Like Me" and "Make Perfect" is like a great kind of like braggadocious. I don't really need mainstream. I don't need to follow trends to be like this dope MC that I am. I love the fact that he has those type of tracks. I like "The Sun Goes Down." That
shit's dope.
shit, like yeah, because the way he was flowing on that shit, I ain't know he had that type of flow. Like I never heard him spit like that before. I was like, God, and then the production on that was different because he produced the entire produced and mastered this shit. Good, that's good shit right there.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But yeah, the way he was rapping on "Sun Goes Down" was fucking dope. I love what he did with "Oh God," because it's kind of like a one of them songs where he's like you're trying to figure out religion. It's like that's why I take it like because I feel that way sometimes too. Where what he was talking about, I'm like, yeah, he always talking about this. You do this. This type of things where people put God in front of and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, that was a dope joint. I was surprised he didn't have Boog Brown spit a verse. I was looking for a verse from Boog Brown, not just her doing the hook. And
I had
like,
to go
damn,
back
that's it.
because I was listening to it on the way in today, and it was my first time really kind of looking at the track list, and I was like, Boog Brown? I don't remember her rapping. So I went and played it, and I was like, oh, she just did the hook. Damn.
Maybe he just didn't want anybody else rapping but him. Cause you got Lingua Franca and Boog Brown, two dope ass rappers, and neither one of them rap.
Right.
It was an interesting choice.
It was.
I'll say that, but I was like you. I was like, damn, Boog ain't gonna rap.
Yeah, I was and off that beat.
Cause that beat would have been nice.
I know. He picked the perfect like beat for it. I was like, man. But yeah, like even the songs that like kind of slowed it down for me, but I still thought they were dope. Was Spotless Mind, Let Down. That's when it just kind of like I guess the production.
Well, I thought he talked about the production melody.
Yeah, just kind of
right around
kind of like slow because coming off of like the first like 7 tracks, it was like famous. Like that shit was
famous.
Man, that shit was so fucking dope. So it was just like coming from that. Then you got the split second, the Boog Brown joint. It was dope that he was showing his different production style. It wasn't just all the first 4 or 5 tracks type of style. You know what I'm saying? So that was dope. I thought he finished it good with End of All Things. He had a reference. Damn, I forgot what reference it was he had used on there.
To think about his dad.
Yeah,
that was deep, man.
It was.
Yeah,
That was a nice way to end the album.
It was. I was like, God damn. Like, I'm like, talk about finishing strong on the album. But yeah, overall, man, I thought this was definitely a solid project. Like I said, kudos to him for producing the whole thing and mastering that shit, and arranging the shit. Like, yeah, I mean, he pretty much
did the sequence.
Only thing he didn't do was mix. Like, only thing he didn't do was mix the album. But other than that, he did everything else. So, and he rapped his ass off on there on top of that. But yeah, I like this shit, man. This is dope.
The beats and the content he's rapping about, along with his voice, mesh really well to give you a really, really solid, strong album. And just even the ad-libs, I think he's done it before, but the dope, that shit is dope. And I love how he interspersed that throughout other songs on here. Because I think that was the first one that stood out to me on here. I think it was track 3, Biggest Loser, or was it Sun Goes Down? It was one of those. And Spotless Mind was, man, that's my shit, man. That beat on that track, and I liked how it mellowed out from there. And I think it, again, fit the tone of the album and kind of brought forward a conclusion to towards the end, leading into the end of everything. So yeah, man, I actually rock with this. I think it's really good. And again, I just love his voice. Like, his voice is just so fucking motherfucking dope, man. And then these beats, man, like everything just goes together so well.
You mentioned his voice or whatever. I think it's interesting because the way he raps isn't how he sounds in like his regular speaking voice.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me, I think the person that's like that is Ciroc. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
And I think he switches it up on a couple of tracks on here. He don't rap in that same voice the whole time, I think.
But that's his normal rapping voice though.
Yeah, I know, but I think he kind of also changes it up on a track or two.
But that's intentional, or is that just how it comes out, or like?
I think that's how he sounds when
training.
I talk to him. His voice is deep when I talk to him. Like when I first met him, I didn't know what he looked like. I was expecting some big 7 foot tall, brolic ass dude, and this short, kind of skinny-ish dude comes
Well,
walking
he's
up.
not short. Everybody's tall.
I'm not sure everybody's tall.
He's this untall person. And I was like, this the motherfucker that has that crazy voice? But yeah, I mean, I think his voice kind of fits when I talk to him. His voice sounds deep. But I think just when you rap, you just get more aggressive, so your voice just gets deeper.
I didn't think his voice was deep when we met him.
I think you're just going by his demeanor. His demeanor doesn't fit.
No, that's not his demeanor. I get his demeanor, but it's this demeanor and his voice though.
Both put together.
Yeah, together. What you think though?
Oh, I fucking love this project, man. I definitely love this project.
You been working with him for a minute though, right?
Yeah, for a long time. I've been talking about him for a while, but I definitely think he hit a plateau. This is a while ago though, but he was dropping a lot of mixtapes, and I always thought his projects were really dope. But there was always something where I was like, he hasn't hit it yet. He hasn't hit it yet. He hasn't hit it yet. And with his last project, I was like, okay, this is really, really dope. But this one, I feel like, is easily his best work. Easily his best work. I think that production-wise, like B said, I think he showed how varied he can be. Because those first, like, 5 songs are just knockers. They're bangers. But then when he slows it down and he does some more like slower, more mellow, kind of intricate production, I think that works too. Because one of my favorite beats on this whole thing is track 13, the title track, Things Got Worse. That production is fucking beautiful, man. Beautiful. But just from when it starts with the Jason theory, those guitars, that bass, and those hard but dirty ass drums. He did everything.
He did everything.
Every beat
He
on
did
here,
everything.
he did. He's produced a lot of shit, but this is some of his best beats.
Yeah.
And I don't know what changed. I don't know what switch was flipped, but I think with his last project, it was more traditional boom bap. It was still dope, but it was more traditional boom bap. I feel like this one is a lot more varied and it's a lot more interesting to listen to.
I feel like he tapped in some magicians on some of these productions.
He did,
You know
yeah,
what
because
I'm
there was
saying?
some more instrumental type things on here as opposed to just like, oh, this is just a beat that's hard.
Right.
Like there's some real like detail and nuance in these beats. But yeah, like Got It Like Me was dope as fuck. That would have the line, I'm over you pussies like ovaries.
Yeah.
Man, and like Sun Goes Down is dope.
That shit was so
But yeah, you were talking about Make Perfect, the remix. Like, I know he's doing a project with Lingua Franca, but I was like, man, I really would have liked for her to rap on that song because that beat is just so weird. Because the original version I've heard was on another project he did called Happy Thoughts. And I like that version, but this one was so different. That beat was so playful and just kind of weird and quirky. And she fit so well with that hook. I just really wish I would have got a verse from her. I don't know Barrow or Abia, so I can't really speak too much on what their capabilities are. They sounded great on those songs doing the hooks or whatever, but Famous is my shit.
Yeah.
Famous is my shit. Like the whole like, and he's good at that whole I'm gonna play the villain type thing, but he did it so fucking well on Famous. And I haven't asked him yet, but I kind of want to know if that line about open up your eyes, got some shit to see, I'm a motherfucking god, bitch, witness me. Like the whole song where he's talking about once you're famous, you don't really have to try that hard.
Right.
You don't really gotta rap too well. You ain't really gotta do much. You can just kind of fuck off. I kind of wonder if that was like a shot at Kanye with his I'm a god, whatever thing.
Right.
Because it seemed like a lot of that song seemed applicable to how Kanye acts. You know, once you get famous, I can say what I want, I can do what I want, and not have to worry about anybody. But there wasn't a single song on here that I didn't like. Everything on here I thought was really done well. And yeah, I think this is easily his best
And it was
project.
sequenced well too.
That part I slightly disagree
Really?
with. Slightly. Only because I'm gonna use Ken's terminology with the tale of two halves. I had a problem with it.
Okay.
I did have a problem with it. But I kind of feel like it may have flowed a little bit better if it wasn't so top heavy with the hard beats and so bottom heavy with the softer, kind of more mellowed out beats, if it was more like interspersed here and there, I think it may have flowed a little bit better. But then again, I'm also not a rapper or an artist.
Right.
So this is just coming from a fan's perspective. It just seemed kind of like, okay, we're really hard right here, and then it kind of just went to this mellow shit, and then it just stayed that way throughout the rest of the project. The beats never got bad.
Yeah.
It never got slouchy.
Okay, so yeah.
The beats were all dope. It was just,
That was my
there was a
favorite.
definite change in sound through the second half of the project. That's what I mean.
So I do think it flowed well. Kind of going back to what B was saying, but I do agree with what you're saying in terms of like when the album is over and somebody asks me about the tone and the sound of the album, I probably would lean more towards the second half, the more darker, smoother beats. And then the top half, that was more hard hitting. So I think that's how I would end up describing the album because that's the lasting
that's what you
memory.
finished on.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm left with. So overall, I would think the sound is more mellow and smooth than dark.
Really?
Yeah, but that's because of kind of what I was left with. Or maybe the darker, harder hitting tracks resonate more with me than the other ones, even though I did like the other more up-tempo tracks. Like Famous just sticks out.
I like aggressive Dope Knife just
Okay.
because his voice fits that style so well. And I feel like when he's slightly angry, I feel like he raps better.
See, I'm the opposite.
Really?
I'm the opposite, yeah. His voice is so dark and it's so present, I think it just sounds better to me on the darker, more mellow tracks. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I like the braggadocious, hard
Yeah.
hitting, dope as
Me
fuck
too.
type dope night.
What about you, Feefo?
More like you. I'm more like you because I'm more so like, you know, the tail end of the album and
That
stuff
nigga
like
checked
that.
out and shit.
Well, it's just
funny.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I don't.
We know his style.
Yeah,
So, this-
you know what I'm saying? Like this shit is, put it on. I'd listen to it for the review. Favorite tracks, like my favorite track was So Upset.
Favorite track?
Yeah, no, and I have I have my favorite track, but nah, give me So Upset. Things Got Worse. Give me Famous.
Famous, Spotless, Mon, Sun Goes Down, Things Got Worse, and The End of Everything.
Got It Like Me, Sun Goes Down, Famous, Oh God, Make Perfect, and End of All Things.
Give me Jason's Theory, Got It Like Me, Sun Goes Down, Famous, and Things Got Worse.
Dope Knife, if you watching.
I'm sorry.
There's no reason to apologize for how the fuck I feel. Shit. No, but man, look, I'm gonna be.
You say, but I made this shit bump for you, man.
I'm just not like. It just this project just didn't draw me in. I'm not. I don't know. It's the sound. Not saying that the production was bad. Not saying that you're a whack artist or anything like that, because that's the furthest thing. But it's just it didn't grab me, man. It didn't grab me. Myke said this is your best project. Obviously you had a couple. I have not checked them out. This is one of those things, man. Like, you know, you're not gonna capture every fan and, you know, convert them and be like, oh, you know, I like this. I'm just not one of those people. I'm one of those people. I missed the boat.
People start talking and things got worse.
Alright, man.
Dope Knife, if you're watching, really great album. I definitely enjoyed it. Definitely had a lot of replay value for me. Honestly, more than I expected going in, because I think a lot of the beats and your voice and the content and everything kind of just came well together and resonated with me. So it made for a very enjoyable listen. Just keep doing what you're doing, bro.
What people talk about.
Yeah, just keep doing your thing, man. I like you as a rapper and as an artist, so just keep doing your thing, bro.
Yeah, man, Dope Night. You're watching a great project, man. This was definitely replay value on this was definitely pretty high. You know, good at you showing a producer MC that you can be nice as hell on them beats and kill on the rhymes, man. I'm glad you're not like trying to follow no trends. You still staying true to yourself. You still staying true to your music and as an artist and everything, man. So that's what I like about it. The authenticity throughout this project, it showed throughout this whole album. So good job, man.
Dope Knife. This is easily, in my opinion, your best project. I think you put your ass in the beats. I think you put your ass on that mic. I feel like you definitely switched up some flows. You added some spice in there that you don't always do, and I think it came out really well. I loved 1984, but to me, this album kills 1984. So yeah, good job, man. I can't wait to see what you do next, because like B said, I'm glad you're sticking to your guns. You haven't really changed up, at least not for trends or anything that's gonna like take away from what you've been doing. But yeah, man, this shit is really dope. So great job.